Everybody, Georgie, welcome to the Strand Tennis Center podcast. I'm Steve Capo. I am your host. All right, some straight tennis tips, situations, not just structural. I think strategic thing is very important in regards to tennis. People get lost out there. They're not really sure. Went through the girls' season this year and saw a lot of different things, watched a lot of different matches. Chatham was very successful, won their states. Who else won? I mean, Pingree was great. They were probably the best team in the state. I went over there and watched a tournament over there last Friday. So watched a lot of interesting matches. Again, the overall thing in regards to, I've said this before, in regards to any type of high school tennis on any level, there's only going to be probably 8 people in the state that will blow you off the court that are just really good players. You can't just keep it and play and hope to win. But besides that, there's plenty of schools out there. There's plenty of players. You can beat most of the people, I'd say 90 to 95% of the people, by being consistent. And I think we put a lot too much pressure on ourselves, trying to do too much with the ball, trying to be able to hit the greatest shot, trying to force it instead of just keeping the ball play. And I always tell every student, it's not the mistakes, it's not the winners you hit, it's the mistakes you do not make. Especially in high school tennis, you will be able to be very successful if you can just limit the mistakes. Between double faults and second, third ball errors, neutral ball mistakes. A neutral ball mistake means that you're just standing in the center of the court, the ball back to you is not hit too hard, and you just dump it into the net or you hit it out. Those things, if you can cut those 3 things away. So I guess number 1 tip from this cast is how to beat most high school players. 80 to 90% of them, I would say 95%, is cut out these 3 things. Double faults, first ball mistakes, second ball mistakes, neutral ball mistakes. So double faults are just giving too many free serves away. On the high school level, we don't hit many aces, but we hit more double faults than ever. So if we can just keep the double faults to a minimum, I always call it the rule of 10. If you can get 10 serves in, you probably can win 6 or 7 of the points. But if you double fault 4 times, you've got to win those next 6, and it's very difficult to do. So number 1, do not double fault. Just take that out of your game. Number 2, keep the rally going longer than 3 shots. So aim high and deep down the middle. High and deep. Make sure the rally lasts longer than 3 shots. And number 3, never make a neutral ball mistake. Any ball that's in the middle to you that's not hit too hard, don't go for it. Just hit it deep down the middle. Again, neutral ball mistakes are a killer. Is when you get a ball that's sitting in the middle of the court and you just somehow overhit it and hit it too hard. The only time, again, those are the 3, the only time to make a good mistake is when a ball is short. You come in, you go for it, and you're aggressive. And that's fine if you make that mistake. So that's the 3 top ways to beat 90 to 95% of the players in high school. Okay, so in high school, you're going to have to play a pusher. And I've got 5 ways that you can beat a pusher. Pushers are people that never, ever do anything with the ball. I mean, they literally moonball it. They hit it super high up. They push it every single time. I'm talking like a lob every time. This is not trying to keep the ball in play. This is literally just putting nothing on the ball, just hitting it as high as you can and keep pushing it and pushing it. The problem is, when we play a pusher, first we get anxious right away. And we feel like, oh my God, I should be winning this match and I'm not. So you have to, number 1 is you have to be patient. Being patient means don't try to hit the ball for a winner right away. The pusher is never going to put the ball away on you, so you can take your time. Be very patient. Let the ball drop, let it come down. And the one issue with patience doesn't mean back up. It doesn't mean back up 5 feet and let the ball get over your shoulder. What it means is let the ball come down, stay on the baseline, hit it on the rise if you need to, but as you hit it back to the pusher, they're just going to elevate it so you can move up. So number 1 is patience. Number 2 is move forward on the pusher. Because they're going to elevate the ball, you can hit it in the air and move forward. And then you can be at the net in control of the court. Now, you have to put that ball away, but you can. So move forward on the pusher. That's number 2. Number 3, bring them forward. The pusher hates to move forward. They're not aggressive. So you're going to hit low and short balls to them. It's going to bring them in, and you're just going to lob it right over their head. So that's going to be an easy way to beat a pusher is bring them in. Serve and volley against the pusher, not even to get into that rally. All you're going to do is serve, come in, and volley if you're comfortable with doing that. I would experiment in trying that. Again, the pusher's not going to drive the ball by you. They're going to just elevate a ball, and it probably won't be a good enough lob, so try to serve and volley. And what you can do with the pusher is also move them side to side. That's the 4th thing. Just move them left and right. One of those balls are going to end up falling short for them, and you don't have to hit it hard left and right. Just decent, because they're not going to do much with it, and one of those will fall short, and you'll be able to move it. So, patience, number 1. Move forward, number 2. Number 3, bring them forward. Number 4, serve and volley. Number 5, move them side to side. That can help. Couple other things I saw. Big serves. Sometimes I see big serves, so people have trouble handling big serves. There's 3 ways to handle a big serve. Number 1 is shorten that backswing. Do not take a big backswing, because what happens is we see a big serve, we start to take a big swing because we overreact. So real short backswing, very compact. Number 2 is you're going to use their power. So when you shorten the backswing, all you're going to do is redirect it back and block it. Don't even take a big follow through. So short backswing, redirect it back really short. Number 3, start way behind the baseline. You'll see Nadal do this with big servers. You see Medvedev do it all the time. Stay 10 feet behind the baseline. So the harder they serve it, the more time you have to react. You're going to force them to try to hit angles and all those things. So the best thing to do with a big server, 3, short backswing. Use their power and back up behind the baseline off the first serve. How to tell if you're putting the right amount of pressure on the opponent. So this is hard to tell, but it's subtle. So some people say, well, I'm not forcing them into anything, blah, 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 and all those things. If you find the opponent is hitting late, that means behind their body, that means you're putting pressure on them. You have enough pace and spin on the ball. And that's a big key. So if they're hitting late, that means behind them you're doing well. If you have them on their back foot, you're putting pressure on them. Back foot also equates to kind of the baseline. If they can't get up to the baseline, you're putting a good amount of pressure on them. If the ball is falling short from them as a reply, you're putting good pressure on them. Those are 3 good signs to know that you're doing the right thing. If they're late on their swing, if they're on their back foot and far behind the baseline, and if their ball is falling short. Pretty clear things to see that you're causing a good amount of pressure, your ball is being hit well. Okay, how do you know 4 ways to hit heavy topspin? So there's a couple of ways you can think about this, because I was thinking about this while I was watching these matches, and there could be more spin. There's a little bit more spin in the men's game. The ladies don't have enough spin. So what you got to do is drop your racket and drop your wrist below the ball just after the bounce. So you get your racket below the ball a little longer. And then you're going to brush heavy up the back of the ball. So what you're going to do is you're going to feel like you're hitting up the back of someone's head. Heavy brush up the back of the ball. You're almost waving at it. That'll give you, those are 2. Drop the backswing, brush heavy up the ball. And what you can do is to get more spin on is you can almost slap over the ball sometimes. Some people hit it. If you see this motion, they'll come this way off the ball. You can brush and slap forward, and that'll give you a little bit more spin. And the 4th is just accelerate. You got to swing a little harder sometimes. You come up with the back of the ball. So drop the wrist, brush up the back, slap over it a little bit, but accelerate through the shot even more. That'll create more spin. Oh, boy, what else? Approaching the net. A lot of people don't like to approach the net, and you got to approach the net 3 different ways, which will help. I think when you get this into your game, it's very important. Number 1, slice it low and come forward. That's going to be a great advantage. It's called chipping and charging years ago. That ball will stay low. It will have trouble getting up. Those people will have to dig it up. Your opponent will have to run up and dig it up, and you'll get a high volley. So number 1, try to slice it low. It could help. Number 2, top spin up the line. So usually if you're going to hit an over a top spin or a ground stroke and you're approaching, hit it up the line because you can cover more ground. If you hit a cross-court approach, the whole alley is going to be open, or the whole down the line, it's very hard to cover. So shadow the ball and approach up the line. And number 3, we don't approach down the middle enough. Deep and down the middle is really great because it cuts off the angle. When years ago, date myself, George, John McEnroe was playing Ivan Lendl, and he was losing to him. for a while, lost like 3 or 4 in a row, and his coach said, hey, you got to start approaching down the middle. He gave him too much angles. He started to do that, and he started to win. People like sometimes being put on the run because it opens up the angle. So approach down the middle. That's the 3 best ways to come in. Low slice, topspin up the line, approach down the middle. What else do I got here when I was thinking about my matches? 3 best ways to extend a rally. So some people are good at this, but some people aren't. They panic. A lot of times we get to a rally, somebody hits it hard, makes us move side to side, we end up hitting too hard. Extending a rally, if you get put on the run or playing defense, number 1, aim high and deep. You got to aim high and deep to get yourself back in the court. So people aren't too aggressive in high school. Aim high and deep, it'll get you back in the court. And use the open stance. In other words, that means when you move to the right, make your last step with your right foot so you can get that ball, play defense better. If you're moving to the left, make the last step with your left foot because you can open up and stay behind the ball. The open stance helps you cover more ground and helps you play better defense. I think I got one more there. Change speeds. So playing defense is about changing speeds too. Extending a rally is about changing speeds because sometimes somebody will hit it hard 4 times and you don't want to keep banging it hard because it's hard to keep that pace. Hit a high, deep one. Hit a low slice. Changing speeds helps extend a rally because it puts them off balance. So try to do that. So, again, defense, high and deep to extend a rally. 3 best ways. High and deep. Use the open stance. Change speeds. So those are kind of the gist of all the tips that I was thinking about playing matches. The other thing is, what I also noticed is, a good tip here is don't reverse the context of what you're supposed to do. And this is kind of a little tricky. I see a lot of kids hitting neutral balls way too soft from the baseline, and then they come up and hit an approach shot, and they hit it way too hard. You're supposed to hit a neutral ball a little softer, but I see kids pushing it way too much. Are they hitting the ball so soft in a neutral situation that they have no chance to get a short ball? Then if they happen to get a short ball, they try to rocket it, and they miss it. So think when you're in a neutral situation, a little bit more pace because you have a larger target. Hit it down the middle. When you come forward, a little bit less pace, but aim for the corners. It's the location that's more important with a short ball. If you hit a good shot if you hit a decent shot to the right location, it doesn't have to be that hard. The neutral ball, if you hit a soft neutral ball down the middle, someone's going to be able to do something with it. So you got to get a little bit more pace on the neutral ball, a little bit less pace in the winning position. It's a strange thing. It seems opposite, but I find people hitting the ball way too hard when they get a short ball. So that's a big key. And we're talking about not making mistakes. A really great tip with your serve. Hit second serves as first serves most of the time. I would say out of 10 serves, hit 5 second serves first. Again, the aces aren't going to come. They're very rare. Spin that serve in as the first serve many times and get connected to your rituals on the serve. A ritual means that you bounce the ball the same amount of times between the first and the second serve, or you do the same thing between first and second serves. I used to bounce it 4 times, take a breath, touch my hat, serve. Bounce it 5 times in the second serve. Have a straight ritual. It's very important. So when you're out there playing the matches, hopefully these things will help you. Matches are tricky. They're very different than practicing. So I would suggest anybody that wants a player on their team, play as many matches as you can. It's 2 different things. Between practicing and playing matches are literally, it's like, what can I equate it to? I mean, for actors say, like, auditioning is very different than acting, right? You have to have 2 different types of mentalities. So when you're playing a match, it's totally different than practicing. When I even tell students here when they play matches, don't just play them at this facility, because what happens is you get comfortable with the facility, and when you go to play a match, that's not the way it is. Most of the time, if you're traveling around, you want to play tournaments, you want to do this, you're going to be in uncomfortable positions, uncomfortable lighting, uncomfortable this. Get used to going to different places, signing in, meeting new people. So matches in different locations is very important for your development. I hope this helps. Boy, it's so tricky. I wish I could help everybody with a match. Matches are so difficult. I had trouble with them too. They're just so frustrating. you feel like you can't get anywhere sometimes. You feel like you can never hit a ball in. It feels like I just suck at this game. But that's when you have to keep playing and keep fighting, because it's all about stinking, George. It's just degrees of failure, and you move forward. Hopefully that's motivating enough, George. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Hope you like the podcast. Please share it with your friends, anybody that you know, anybody that's into tennis, anybody that's into bettering themselves. Share it.